faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up at City Hall. It's honesty, dedication, integrity. It's a true leader. It's Bob Penta. Yes, it's Bob Penta, a unique candidate from Summit Road, who came to Medford with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Bob Penta, who changed the course of the mighty Mystic River. He crafts city ordinances with his bare hands, and who, disguised as a mild-mannered city councilor for a great metropolitan city, fights for a never-ending battle for lower taxes, accountability, and the American way. Which mayoral candidate has outlined a plan to revitalize our business districts and attract new investments into our downtown Medford Square?
Bobby Penta.
Which mayoral candidate, no hands up, I'm looking around. Which mayoral candidate has a plan to implement sidewalk and street recovery program to address our crumbling roads, not too early, our crumbling roads and our infrastructure?
Bob Penta!
You're
We sat on Pool Street.
Pool Street. Pool Street's the first street. Which mayoral candidate has the vision, knowledge, integrity, and leadership skills to move our city forward?
Bob Penta.
Which mayoral candidate will conduct an independent audit of City Hall and secure the negotiations? We will not only conduct an independent audit, by the way, an independent audit has been done for the past 28 years by the same independent company. And City Hall will secure, in addition to the independent audit, City Hall, Bob will secure and negotiate to terminate the field kiosk program and replace it with an in-house parking program. I let the cat out of the bag. I think I said Bob, but so at this time it's my honor and my privilege to announce the next person that's going to get up and say a few words about Bob. This is a person that has, in my opinion, has been Bob's guiding light, Bob's beacon in this election. And someone that has been such a dedicated and committed person to this race, which we all know takes countless hours of time and effort. And without the support and love and dedication of Susan, I'm not quite sure where Bob would be right now. But I can tell you, he's leading the pack at this particular time. He's going to win. He's going to be our next mayor. At this time, let's announce Susan Penta.
Second time is a charm. Look at us, we are still filling the room. I'm still sort of blown away that we are so blessed to have so many amazing and dedicated people, and family and friends. To see you all sitting here this evening to show your support, and to all those who couldn't make it but sent donations, Bob and I are truly grateful. We've been working hard since we were here together, putting up almost 1,000 signs, holding 13 standouts in different areas of Medford so that no one would feel that we weren't in touch with them. And by the way, anyone who wishes to join us this Friday, we're going to be at George Street and Main Street right by the Royal House. So come on down and hang out with us and hold a sign. We've attended 8 meet and greets at friends' homes and met their neighbors and their friends, and they've allowed us to talk about Bob's plan for Medford. And we participated in numerous events and community days. We were just recently at the 385th parade for Medford, and with all our favorite minions, including one minion that has always stolen my heart. And so that was a great day. But the final push for this campaign begins tonight. Like a roller coaster ride, we are at the very top of that hill. And very soon we will be heading down at a thrust and a perilous speed. And when the ride is over, we will all laugh and talk about what a fun trip this was. But there is much work to be done, and we will need your help. And it's time to make the calls, volunteer to stand out, to work the polls, send out dear friend cards, and get out the vote. On the table this evening, we have volunteer cards. Please fill them out with ways that you feel you can help with this final push. If you choose to, we also have dear friend cards here this evening. They look like this. We'll have someone manning this table soon. And all you need to do is fill in your friend's name, sign it, and address it. And then give us a call. In 5 days, we'll come pick them up, we'll stamp them and mail them for you. And so that would be really helpful, and it talks about why they should vote for Bob Penta. It has been a very long and winding road to get to this point. And I've learned so much about campaigning. Some of it's been fun, some of it not so fun. And I've learned a lot about my husband along the way. I've learned that his loyalty and his honesty, his trustworthiness, and his friendship far outweigh any desire for winning the election for mayor. I've learned that he's a fair player, that ethics and decency are weaved into his soul. I have learned that his desire to help the people of Medford is a passion far beyond this campaign. Our opponent has stated publicly that Bob is too old and too hard and too prejudiced to sit in the corner office. And this is what I say to those critics. You don't know Bob Penta. Bob Penta has more energy than most of us all put together. I sometimes have a hard time trying to just keep up with him. Age is not a detriment. It brings with it experience and wisdom and the desire to make things better for the next generation and for the generation after that. Too hard? Bob is definitely a no-nonsense kind of guy. He truly believes that if you are elected or chosen or paid to do a job, then you just need to do it. And if you don't do it, you need to be held accountable. He believes that common sense should rule and that government is not about power, but doing the will of the people you serve. Does that make him hard? Hardly not. Bob is the voice of those who aren't heard, the everyday citizen and business people who pay the taxes and work hard and try to make a living. As mayor, he will make those voices heard. And too prejudiced? I live with and know Bob Penta. And let me just clarify this. Bob Penta is not, let me repeat that, he is not against gays, lesbians, transgenders, women in business, or women in general. He is not anti-business, he is not anti-development, and he is not anti-union, as his opponent would lead you to believe. And I would ask all of you to speak out by asking people to listen and to get to know the candidates before they make their decision on November 3rd. And with that being said, I have one more thing to say. Bob Penta, I love you. And I am especially proud of the kind of campaign that you're running, and you're keeping your head above the fray, and you are keeping it honest and clean. And don't change any of that, because that's what a good person is. And whether you become the mayor or you don't become the mayor, you can hold your head up high. And I am looking so forward to this finish line with you and you becoming the mayor of Medford.
Let's do it in this order. Michael Marks, what can I say? As Susan just alluded to, he was the first person that came on board, unquestionably, no nothing, just came on board because he just believes, I guess what I believe in, that the city not only needs to change, he believes in good government, he believes in transparency, he believes in just doing the people's business and not looking for any ultimate reward other than the people voting for you and putting you back in office. That's the greatest reward you can have. These fundraisers are necessary because financially we all know that's what you need to do to get yourself elected. You need the money, you need to buy the postage, you need to buy the printing, and you also need to get your message out there, whether it's through the news media or what have you. But with that being said, if Michael were right, I don't know where you were in the room, all I can tell you, like my wife said, I just don't know how to say thank you. And not to single any other person out, but I am, and I don't mean to do this or embarrass them. Between Michael and Tony D'Antonio, they have just gone so far out of their way on a daily basis that I just don't know what to say other than thank you. And I guess that's what friendship and loyalty is about. Now, the prize of the night is my wife, because I have to tell you the reason why. She is my campaign manager, and she has never, ever been involved in politics until this race. And why did I choose her? I chose her because, being a neophyte, I wanted to understand what that type of a person looks at and perceives a campaign to be all about. Have we fought? Absolutely we have fought. Have we disagreed? We have absolutely disagreed. But every time we disagree and fight, she brings me to the middle of the road. Because I can be as extreme on any one day as she can be not extreme. And that's what I really needed. Over and beyond my friends, who I greatly appreciate, and I know I'm well blessed and endowed with my friendship. But you know, your spouse has a big part in what you do in politics. And I couldn't be any more blessed than having my wife Susan be beside me and being my campaign manager. She made a comment about age, so I'm going to just tell you, I'm 71 years of age, I'm proud of it, I can do this job better than any candidate running for it. Before I actually get into it, what I want to say, there's a couple of individuals here. Last time on June 24th, we recognized them for their birthday. One of the fellows is sitting out here, we went to college together, Gino Miko. He's having his birthday today. I want to wish him happy birthday. A fellow that used to live in Medford, moved down to the Cape, and he came back to Medford for one reason. Mr. Mangan, Jed Mangan. He came back here to vote for me in this election, and that to me spells volumes of what people think about this city. Okay, let's get to it. I have run a positive campaign. Oh, I'm sorry. My son-in-law, where are you? Brian, it's your birthday too, I'm sorry. See, that's what happens when everybody's so close. I'm sorry. I'm going to buy him a razor, he doesn't know that. Okay, let's get to it. We have run a positive campaign since day one. I said to myself and to anyone around me, the only way we're going to win this election is to get our message out there. And I'm calling it the Penta Plan. And the reason why I'm calling it the Penta Plan, there are 18 components, and you'll probably just get it within the next 2 days. If you live in the city of Medford, you'll be getting a flyer that basically has the first 10 initiatives that I have out there. The last time we met here in June, I listed a whole bunch of 18. But even though we have 18 and we're down to 10, we have a whole bunch more coming. So sometimes, if you put too much on there, people won't read it. So what we're doing is culling it down and give it to you in spurts and increments. And hopefully you may read one, if not two, if not three, or maybe you read them all. But you'll have a chance to share that with your neighbors and your friends. The difference in this campaign and that of my competition is we have a plan. They don't have a plan. What they've engaged in is a smear attack in many, many ways that is just not fair. I am not going to stoop to that level. I am not going to recognize it. I'm not going to be a part of it. Because no one's going to detour me from going to that corner office and doing the people's business with the plan that they will understand and recognize as being for the city of Medford. You know, we're like a car, this city. We've been stuck in neutral for a long period of time. We haven't been able to move. This election gives us an opportunity to put the car in drive in an overdrive and give us an opportunity to really move forward, really give ourselves a new vision, a new opportunity, and more importantly, a reason to be proud of our city. Not to turn around and say, why is Medford Square not developable? Why are the streets in the condition that they're in? Why do we pay these large amounts for water and sewer bills when we're sitting on a $7.5 million surplus? And we can go on and on and on with all these things. So what I've done is I put this all into a package, which again is called the Penta Plan. And from walking the streets till now, for the last 3.5 months, these seem to be the largest community and citizen concerns. So this is what I'm running on. The first one is the parking kiosk. That seems to be the #1 issue that I have heard in this community. Why is it the #1 issue? I believe it's consumer and business unfriendly. Just because you can now drive down into a downtown area and see a lot of parking spaces, go and ask the business merchants, because those spaces are blank, does that mean people are coming in and doing business with them? And they'll tell you no. You go to certain parts of the community, they have no opinion because there's a parking lot either near them or adjacent to them. But more importantly, the idea is when you have parking enforcement, not revenue enhancement and parking enforcement, that's the only way you're going to find out if this is really working in this community. The fact that we have to give up 65% of the revenues that the city gains and give it to an outside company from Tennessee, that's not parking enforcement. That's a bunch of people coming into town and taking our money for which we, the city of Medford, should be gaining through our own efforts, through our own initiative, and through our own employees. Let's start small rather than big. That's the only way we're going to find out what's going on. Now, when we talk about business development in our city, the business development aspect really hasn't kicked in for a long period of time. We have at the present time an Office of Community Development. In that office is approximately 2 people. 2 people. You go to Somerville, they have 13, 14. You go to Arlington and Lexington, they have multitudes of people. And you can look and see the development that they have. And when you only have 2 people to work with, and their present administration only tells you what to do, that stifles development, that stifles progress, that stifles the ingenuity. So what I want to do is I'm going to recreate that office into the Office of Business and Cultural Affairs and put in a professional grant writer. A grant writer that gets paid good money to bring in good money, because the only way development takes place is you have to spend money to make money, and we haven't done that for a long period of time. Third thing that's on the agenda is the police station, public safety in our community. And the police station, as we all know, is 50 years old, and it's infested with everything under the sun. Whether you want to call it mold, whether you want to call it termites, whether you want to call it a building just that doesn't have the ability to adapt to today's modern day and age, so be it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at where the police station is, and we're going to look at all the business community that surrounds it, including the fire department. And I will assure you, within a 3-year period of time, we will come up not only with a plan, but a financial plan. The huge difference between my competition and I, they're saying 7 years, and I'm telling you 3, because again, it's not going to take 3 terms of a 2-year term of administration to do it. You'll know this by the end of the 2nd term with me, or the beginning of the 2nd term, because public safety is too important of an issue just to dingle around and dance around the subject matter. Either you do it or you don't do it. And once we present it and show it to the people of this community, not only are they going to like it, but the police department's going to be looked at they're going to be looked at with more respect. The attitude coming from them is not going to be laissez-faire. It's going to be well-rounded, and they're going to have a new vision as to how police enforcement and how the report is going to take place in this community. That's going to be a priority of mine. Not only that, it's also inclusive of City Hall. You will have a respectful answer when somebody calls you at City Hall. And if you don't, those jobs will be on the line. That's what they should be afraid of. Making sure people do their job. The next one's a combination of schools, the maintenance of the schools, and the Medford Public Library. For the past 6 years, the Medford Public Library has gone on what they call a waiver from the state. How do you get a waiver from the state? If you have a financial problem within your community and you can't fulfill it or satisfy it within your budget. The city of Medford sits on hundreds and thousands, if not $6.5 million of free cash and other avenues of money. We've gotten away with it for 6 years. And for 6 years, unfortunately, the Medford Public Library is not in the position it should be in. It should be a nice, colorful, artful, clean, enticing place to go. Go in there now, and it still looks like it's 1950s, you know, and it just doesn't make sense. The bathrooms haven't been touched in years and they need to be replaced. It would be nice to put a nice cafe in there, and you could go in there and maybe meet with some people, have a cup of coffee, and you could have internet service that would entice people to come in and say, wow, this is really nice to be here. We don't have to tear that building down because it's structurally sound. What you have to do is renovate it, bring it up to date, have some vision, and move forward, because that's what Medford needs. It needs to move forward. The last one is streets and the water and sewer. This problem is probably the most costly that the city is going to have to undertake. Where's the money going to come from? It'll come right out of the budget. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and put a program together. Something that the city has never done. Rather than just calling City Hall, find the right politician or find the right person that can put you on an agenda or possibly fix a street or whatever it might be. These streets in the city are bad, but we're no different than anyone else. We have a lot more concerns as it relates to the streets because they haven't been addressed in a long period of time. Now, if you take that issue and you multiply that into the new schools are now 15 years old. But why did we build new schools 15 years ago? We built new schools because they weren't maintained by the administration that's there right now. This same administration who's been there with the new schools being built after 15 years, those schools are now in excess of $1 million worth of repairs because they haven't been maintained. We're following the same road, we're traveling the same tracks as how we got into this in the first place. My idea is to put at least in each school budget, each individual school budget, a 5% maintenance fee that's addressed, and it's not just lumped in and you can say, well, we'll take it out of there. That will make each school not only accountable, but it'll be able to address not only the problems that they have, but to get these schools back up. Because if this continues on the way it is, in 25 years, we're going to be right back where we were before. And just as an aside, I'm going to tell you something that's going on in this issue. When the new school issues came up 15 years ago, because I know this is what they're coming after me on, that they're saying that I was against the new schools. No, I wasn't against the new schools. I was for the neighborhood schools. We went from 13 to 4. And at that point in time, what was being argued is that you could not rehabilitate the old schools because you would not get the money from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Well, we proved them wrong because I found the Lincoln School on Washington Street in Melrose, and I went there. It's a school that goes back to the 1890s, and they got the money from the state to not only rehab it, but upgrade it. If you were to go down there now and look at that school, yeah, does the building look like it's from the 1890s? But you go inside, it's the state of the art. A bomb couldn't take that down. That's the mistake that we made here in this community then. But just think about this. Up in Fulton Heights, where the school is out there, they're telling you that when you leave the Fulton Heights, you now go down to the Roberts Elementary School. That's your new neighborhood school for the Fulton Heights area. That means you've got almost a mile and a half. You're going to tell a little kid who goes to kindergarten or a first or a second grader that used to walk to school because every neighbor, every grandparent knew everybody's kid. But that doesn't happen anymore. And as a result of that, and because of building these new schools, we have an additional cost of almost $800,000 a year just in busing alone because of this. So when you looked at the picture back then, I didn't think it was a good thing. But they had the votes and we moved forward. And as we move forward, okay, I can live with that and I'll accept it. But I'm not going to accept schools that are not kept up. They're not kept up physically and they're not kept up educationally. So what I want to do on the educational part of it is to go to Tufts University. I've already spoken to the Director of Public Policy, and I want to speak to the President, and I want to let him know, I don't want your money like you've been doing for years, give us $1 million. You know what I want? I want your educational prowess that you have, and I want you to incorporate that into the Medford public and private school system, so these kids will have an opportunity to know there is a college not only in our community, but they'll have a chance to get ahead, and they have an offering that no other city and town around has. We have a college. I'm a big stickler on education because maybe, where's Patricia? She's right there. We go back to St. James Grammar School. And maybe the nuns beat it into you that education, I don't know, is this on? I don't know. Can you hear me? That education is the thing to do. You know, my father was an educator, he taught at the Newton Public School System, and I grabbed a little bit of that. My friend Jimmy and I, we went to college. When we went to college, you know, we wound up being teachers. Don't ask us how we ever made that decision, but it was a very interesting decision to be made because you see an awful lot about life. And the most important part about life and education is the kids. You learn so much from the kids, whether it's their sports ability, whether it's their educational ability, or whether just what do they want to be in life, where do they want to go. Well, I know where I want to go. I want to be your next mayor, but Susan mentioned the fact that we've about 1,000 signs we've got out. Well, it's 942. Listen to me, 940. When I first bought these signs, I said I bought 150 signs, and I said to my brother Anthony, I said, what am I going to do with 150? I don't even 150 people around the city. Other than the 10 that I gave to Larry White, bring it down to 932. I put up every one of those signs because every one of those signs were called for and requested. I didn't ask one person to put up a sign, and that's throughout the entire city of Medford. That's what's given me the hope and the encouragement and the trust and the feeling to go forward that this city wants change, this city knows they need the change, and this city wants a new mayor that's not part of the same old, same old. They want a brand new mayor that's not tied to anyone, anything, or anything. To those of you who have taken this journey with Susan and I, what can I say? We are truly, truly blessed, and I thank all of you. But the best part about this will be on November 3rd, when our complete city will be blessed, because we will have a new mayor, his name will be Bob Penta, and you are going to be proud of him.